knowing something that's not obvious. It means busting the myths that you grew up with, that your parents grew up with, and that permeate our society as well. So let me say something. I don't see, we can have an argument, what are the greatest threats to freedom in America? But a system that takes away the freedom and that puts behind bars tonight 500,000 people for doing something that involves merely the possession, the growth, the selling, and the buying of a substance in a consensual transaction, there is no greater offense against freedom that exists in this country that I can think of. Taking away people's basic freedom. Stripping them. Giving them a number, paying them a dime or a quarter for an hour's work, moving them into prisons, public and private prisons, hundreds of miles away from their home, but having prison doors and prison cells come down every night, putting them away sometimes for more time than we're putting rapists and murderers away, stripping them of the right to vote and the ability to get jobs once they come out. What greater threat and assault on freedom in our country is there anywhere else around the world other than taking away people's life for no good reason at all? This has to be a priority and passion of people who care about advancing liberty in this country. Because I'll tell you something. This movement to end the war on drugs, this growing movement for drug policy reform, we are following the footsteps and standing on the shoulders of other great movements for freedom and justice in this country, right? And those are the gay rights movement. We are today, in 2014, where the gay rights movement was in the 1980s, right? Where the civil rights movement was in the 1960s, where the women's rights movement was in the teens, where even the movement to abolish slavery and the slave trade was in the 1850s. Right? We are a growing minority who gets it, and the public is beginning to listen and to learn. The politicians still dare not step there, but they need us to push them. We are the ones where powerful vested economic interests are defending the status quo, but where the economic arguments are on our side. We are the one where we are confronting opponents who play on people's fears around their women and their children in the crudest, horriblest possible ways, and we know the policies we are advocating are ultimately going to create a world that is safer for our children, for our women, for anybody who is vulnerable in this society. Right? That's the movement we're trying to build now. This is a movement for freedom. One that says nobody but nobody deserves to be punished for what we put into our bodies absent harm to others. If we cannot figure out a way to make these other drugs legally available and thereby undercut the incarceration of black markets and violence and corruption, then we need to find the ways to allow those people who are determined to get and buy those substances to get them from a legal source one way or another. That is going to be the next forefront. The mission of drug policy reform, take marijuana out of the criminal justice system, end the criminalization of drug use, and design the system so that people who want to obtain these drugs can. That's what it means. It means ending the racial injustice and the racial disproportion of the drug war, and it means ending the hypocrisy, and it means every one of you promising that as you grow up and as you have children, that you will not embrace one of the principal characteristics of parenthood, which is hypocrisy. That your youthful passion for freedom will not be sacrificed on the altar of parenthood. It's about building a safer and freer and better society. I welcome you to join me to make this your priority as well, to get moving. I welcome the growing alliance between Students for Liberty and Drug Policy Alliance and the entire drug policy reform movement. Thank you very much.